If you're trying to learn AI in 2026, you're probably doing it wrong, and it's not really your fault. The problem is that hundreds of AI tools launch every month, and every video covers something different. But none of them tell you where to actually start or what order to learn things in, so you end up with a pile of bookmarked tutorials and no real progress. I spent the last few weeks going through the actual research on how people learn new skills, and almost none of it lines up with how AI is being taught online. So I built a 30-day roadmap based on what the evidence says works, and I'm going to walk you through all of it right now. There's a concept called the learning pyramid, and it shows that passively watching a tutorial gives you about 10% retention, but practicing what you learn on a real task pushes that to 75%. That gap explains why you can watch AI content for weeks and still feel like you haven't moved forward. So this roadmap is structured around 3 phases, and each one builds directly on the last. Phase 1 is prompting, which is the single skill that works across every AI tool you'll ever touch. Phase 2 is research and creative tools, where you start pulling accurate information from real sources and producing professional visuals in minutes. And Phase 3 is building an automation, where AI starts creating things for you and running tasks on its own. Every phase comes with specific steps you can follow along with, and the first one also happens to pay off the fastest. You've likely used ChatGPT or Claude before and gotten decent results, but chances are you've also had to rewrite most of what it gives you before you can actually use it. That gap between getting something generic and getting exactly what you need comes down to the prompt. And since image generators and video tools all use prompts too, this is the one skill that actually carries over to everything else you do. I'm going to give you a 5-part framework called CRAFT, and to show you how it works, I'm going to build a prompt right in front of you so you see the whole thing take shape. Let's say you run a small marketing agency and you need a client onboarding checklist. Right now, you'd probably type something like, "Write me an onboarding checklist," and get a generic list that doesn't match your business at all. With CRAFT, you build the prompt one layer at a time. I'll type, "I run a 5-person marketing agency and I need to get new clients set up without scheduling extra meetings." That is C, the context. It gives the AI your situation, your industry, and your constraints so it stops filling in blanks with generic assumptions. You are a business operations specialist who writes for small agency owners. That is R, the role. It tells the AI who to be, which completely changes the vocabulary and the depth of everything it writes. Write a 5-step onboarding checklist I can send to new clients on day 1. That is A, the ask. And it mentions the exact deliverable, the exact length, and the exact use case. Structure it as a numbered list with 1 sentence per step. That is F, the format. If you skip this, the AI picks its own layout, and it is almost never what you had in mind. Keep it professional but warm, like you're welcoming someone to the team. And that is T, the tone. This is exactly what turns robotic text into something that actually sounds human. That full prompt takes about 30 seconds to write, but instead of a rough draft you have to rewrite, you get a final version you can use immediately. And the reason a structured prompt works so much better isn't just about you being clearer. The AI itself has an easier time interpreting what you need when the prompt is organized, which means less guessing on its end and a better result on yours. For the next 7 days, take 1 task per day and write the prompt using CRAFT. Keep the 5 letters open on a note and check each one before you hit enter. By day 7, that structure will feel automatic, and you'll notice your prompts are producing tighter, more usable output on the first try. This framework applies to every prompt you write, but even the best structure cannot force a standard chatbot to be a reliable researcher, and that is exactly what the next phase solves. Your chatbot writes well and brainstorms fast, but the problem is that it doesn't always get the facts right. It predicts what sounds correct and not what is correct, which is why you sometimes get confident answers that are completely wrong. Perplexity works like a search engine that actually answers your question. You ask it something, it pulls from live sources across the internet, and it shows you where each piece of information came from so you can verify everything yourself. So instead of trusting a chatbot's memory, you're looking at cited answers you can check in seconds. And CRAFT works here the same way. Give it the context of what you're researching, specify whether you want recent news or academic papers, and tell it the format you need. A structured prompt in Perplexity gets you to a sourced answer faster than anything you'd find through a normal Google search. Then there's Notebook LM, which does something none of the other tools do. You upload your own files, and the AI analyzes only what you gave it instead of pulling from its general training data. Whether you are analyzing financial reports or studying for an exam, the answers come strictly from your source material. You can even write custom instructions that shape the tone and focus, so every conversation is tuned to your needs immediately. So this week, pick 1 task and run it through Perplexity to get cited answers instantly. Then take the documents you find or are already working with, upload them to Notebook LM, and ask it to pull out the specific details you need. Once you chain these 2 steps together, you will see just how much time you actually save. By day 12, you'll have 2 new tools in your workflow that handle information better than your chatbot ever could. And the category after this is the one I'd spend the most time exploring because it opens up an entirely different side of what AI can actually do. Image generators now produce results that hold up when you actually look closely. You describe a product shot, a social media graphic, or a concept image in plain English and get something back in seconds that would have taken hours to produce manually. And video generation has caught up fast because you can now take a single still image and turn it into footage image with actual camera motion. One of the platforms I've been using for this is Higgsfield, and it shows exactly where Creative AI sits right now. It combines the best image and video generation models inside one platform, so instead of jumping between 5 different tools and 5 different subscriptions, everything lives in one place. So inside Higgsfield, I can go to the Create Image tab and choose from a list of models. The one I've been using the most is called Nano Banana Pro, which is built on Google's Gemini 3.0, and it's one of the most accurate image generators available right now. It renders text correctly inside images, and the quality is genuinely at a level where you can use it for professional projects. Now, if I just type a coffee shop, I'll get a decent image, but it's going to be generic and I'll have no control over the mood, the angle, or the style. So following craft, I'll write something like warm interior of a specialty coffee shop at golden hour, shot from a low angle on 35mm film, wooden countertop in the foreground with a single latte, soft natural light coming through floor to ceiling windows, muted earth tones, shallow depth of field. And instantly, that gives me something that looks like an actual photograph instead of a random AI image. And then I can take that image and run it through one of Higgsfield's video models, and the camera actually moves through the scene with real depth and parallax instead of that warped, artificial motion you get from most generators. So you go from a text prompt to a still image to cinematic footage, all without ever leaving the platform. I've put a link in the description so you can try it out for yourself. And a huge thank you to Higgsfield for sponsoring this video. Generate one image this week using a full craft prompt, then take that image and run it through a video tool to see what it looks like in motion. The goal by day 18 isn't to become a professional creator. It's to see what's possible so you know when to reach for these tools in your real work. Every tool so far has taken something you already do and made it faster. The next category flips that entirely, because this is where you start creating things that didn't exist before. There's a category of AI right now that barely existed 2 years ago, and relative to how useful it is, almost nobody talks about it. AI app builders let you describe what you want in plain English, and they actually write the code to generate a working product in minutes. The two platforms leading this space right now are Bolt and Lovable, and they both work the same way. Let's say you're a freelancer and you're tired of sending the same intake questionnaire to every new client over email. I'll open Bolt and type, "Build me a client intake form where new clients fill out their project details, budget, and timeline, and the responses get organized into a dashboard I can check." Within a few minutes, you're looking at a working website. You share the link, clients fill it out, and everything lands in one place. That's one example, but you can build pricing calculators, project trackers, internal dashboards, landing pages, or even small tools that automate parts of your daily workflow. Think of one thing in your work that would be easier with a simple tool, type that description into Bolt or Lovable, and spend a few days refining it. Tell the AI to move things around, add features, or fix what's off. That back and forth is where the real learning happens, because you're watching better prompts produce better results in real time. By day 24, you'll have something you actually use in your work that you built yourself. And once you have multiple tools producing real output across your workflow, the last piece is connecting them so they stop running separately. That connection is exactly what automation tools do, and there are 3 major ones worth knowing about. Zapier is the best place to start. It connects to the most apps and works in a simple linear list. You just tell it, when this happens, do that. For example, when I get a new lead, send them an email. It is reliable, easy to understand, and perfect for simple tasks. Make is for when you need to see the logic clearly. Instead of a simple list, it gives you a visual canvas that works like a whiteboard. You can drag and connect different steps, create branches, and build more complex workflows in a way that feels natural. If you think visually, this often feels much easier to understand and manage than traditional automation tools. N8N is for when you want full control. It's open source, which means you can host it yourself and you're not paying per task. It takes a bit more technical setup, but in return you get complete ownership of your data and total flexibility over how your workflows are built and executed. By day 30, you won't just be using AI tools. You'll have automated at least one part of your workflow that runs without you touching it. Instead of juggling separate tools and manual steps, everything works together as one system. Pick one repetitive task from your week and automate it. Spend about 20 minutes setting it up once, and you'll save that time every single week going forward. And the reason the craft method works so well is because it applies to every AI tool. And once you learn how to communicate clearly with AI, you can pick up any new tool and master it in a fraction of the time. So if you're ready to put this roadmap into action, start with Gemini 3.0 in the video on your screen right now, where I'll walk you through everything it can do step by step. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.